at Bill Wilson Center.
About to do our interview.
How's everyone feeling?
A little nervous. Pretty nervous about pee.
Yep. Same.
You know, gonna have verbal diarrhea, but it's okay.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Same. Yep. Good. Currently waiting for Debbie Pell. This office is really like comfy.
I'm gonna go surfing right now. Or you just want to know like about you and how you got here, like to where you are in this career. Like at our age, is this what you wanted to do? Like, is this, you were like, I'm gonna be here at the Bill Wilson Center?
Yeah, not exactly. So when I was your age, I was actually in a program. It wasn't called Avid, but it was in our last year of high school. Those who were on the honor roll got to take 2 weeks off of school and go actually work in some sort of an industry that they thought they wanted to, pursue when they got older. And so when I was in high school, I wanted to be a nurse. So I did want to be in a helping profession. I knew that. However, my career kind of took some twists and turns. And so I did consider nursing. I went to junior college and worked with a school counselor, and for some reason my nursing career turned into physical therapy career. Mm-hmm. So then I went to a university that was known for good physical therapy program, and first semester of my university I went from an honor student to academic probation. Wow. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. I'm like, oh my gosh. So, and it was, the sciences were really, really, really hard for me. And I think I recognized, I don't think this is what my aptitude is all about, this chemistry. And so I kept talking to people, and I know what I want to do, but I don't know what it's called. It's got to be out there somewhere. And some wise woman that I met said, Debbie, I think you'd be really good as a recreational therapist. And I said, well, what is that? I've never heard of that. Well, it turned out California State University of Fresno, which is where I went, had a really strong recreational therapy program. So I ended up getting my bachelor's in that program, and I loved it. I was working with kids and people, and so I had that career for a few years. I worked with mentally ill kids at a state hospital for 3 years, which I totally loved, and I was the fun person. So, but when I was doing all that, because I was the fun person, and it was therapy-based to, help kids with their social skill development and maybe some, physical health development, how to use your leisure time, to pick activities that were healthy as opposed to going off to drugs or, other things. I could connect with certain kids that the therapist couldn't connect with. And so the therapist there was one particular kid said, Debbie, you're the only one that kid will have anything to do with. We want you to be his therapist. I'm like, I don't know how to be a therapist. I mean, not a therapist. I'm the recreation therapist person. And so she hooked me up, and she said, we're going to guide you, the psychiatrist and the social worker. We're going to guide you, but, And so they did, and it turned out I really enjoyed it. So, so I decided to get my master's degree and go into therapy, and that's kind of what I ended up doing, and was a therapist. Well, I'm still a licensed therapist, but as I went into different careers, I went into the nonprofit world 30 years ago. I've been doing this a very long time, and I really liked it. It was just like, I think this was like made for me. And as I went in as a therapist, I would meet different people along the way who saw something in me that I never knew existed, which was manager. And I'm like, seriously? And so little by little, I would just get hired, and people would say, no, we want you to do this. We think you can. And about 20 years ago or so, I went into more of a management in the therapy world, so supervising clinicians but doing a lot more. And I think that really appealed to me. It was very hard for a while, but it appealed to me, and I grew into really loving it. And when I first went into the world of therapy, I was sort of thinking, I can help one person at a time. But as you start getting into a managerial role and you start training other people to do it, you're like, wow, I can help lots of people now at a time. And then as I kept growing in my managerial position, and now I'm at an executive management level, I'm like, wow, I can do hundreds, and now I can do policy making, and really change, and make a difference in the world on a larger scale. And so that's kind of how I landed where I landed.
How did you deal with going from being the fun recreational therapist to being the one that actually has to
That was hard. That was hard. There were a lot of tears. The support system that I had was phenomenal, and it is really important. I'm very lucky in that respect. There was a lot of nights, every Wednesday night I had a girlfriend who was actually my partner in the private practice that we had together. And very, very dear friend of mine, and every Wednesday we had dinner together. And there was an awful lot of Wednesdays where we'd be having dinner together and I'd be bawling. And she'd be so supportive, but it was really, really hard. But I think hard is okay. It's good because your biggest lessons learned are from the mistakes that you make or from the things that present the most challenges. And if you keep that perseverance and belief that you're gonna forge through that and you're gonna make it better, and you do make it better, then the success feels really nice as well.
Is there any point in time where you second guess between being a nurse and being a therapist?
Mm-mm. Well, the nursing, I think when I was in high school, I'm not sure, and I don't know how many high school kids really, know what they want to be. I think some people might, but I also think that life experience kind of kicks in. You're doing a lot of growing at that time, a lot of growing, and you're doing a lot of learning and exploring. And so I don't think it's uncommon to sort of start thinking you want to do one thing and then sort of move into another direction. For me, it was very simple. I was no good at chemistry. No good. And that's a really important class to be good at. And there was just an awful lot of memorization of a lot of body parts.
I know exactly why you do chemistry right now.
And I'm like, this is...
If you had one final piece of advice, what would it be?
Oh, I think follow your dreams. Just don't give up. Just don't give up. Know that there's going to be some really hard times, hard days, but that's part of the process, and that's where you learn the most. Take it, go with it, don't try to fight it, and keep, what one of my friends always says, keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eye on the prize. And I kind of laugh when he says it, but it makes sense to me, Just stay focused, and if you get distracted for a while because something takes you away, that's okay, that'll happen. That's life. But, you always have the opportunity to go back. Don't ever think you don't. And I'm watching my daughter right now sort of go through that. She elected to get married and have children at a very young age, and she's done phenomenal at it. I'm actually I'm not surprised, but I'm surprised, you know, that most kids who go right out of high school and start a family, that's hard. That to me seems awfully young. Of course, once the kid's 18, I don't get to make those choices for them anymore. They kind of make them on their own. And I have to support it, but now she has a 14-year-old and she has a 17-month-old. And she's starting to think she wants to go back to school. And she's like, Mom, I don't know what. Well, she's a hairstylist. She has a career, but that she's had for a long time and she's good at. But she's like, I want to go back to school, Mom. I don't know. What am I good at? What can I do? And of course, I think she would be an amazing nurse, honestly. She had wanted that once before. So I think I'm gonna see her this weekend. The girls are my two daughters. I have two daughters. They're taking me to Las Vegas for my big birthday. My big birthday. And I told them, well, when I turn that age, you better do something good for me. Well, they did. They sent me a plane ticket and everything. They're really cute. So just the three of us get to spend time together, which is very rare because they're both married and my youngest one's pregnant. But you know, we're gonna get a chance to talk a little bit about that, and I want her to, you know what, go for it. Go for what you want to do. Keep doing it. I took a break between my bachelor's and my master's because I ended up doing the family thing for a while, but it was good. I mean, I was really happy that I went back and got it. Some people will go right through, and that's okay too. But you know, just know you're never too old. Keep going for it, and do what you want to do, and be true to yourself. You're gonna be way happier if you do that as a person. I think you kind of learn some, at least I know I did learn some life lessons from when I was a kid. When my parents divorced, I was 10. My mother was an at-home mom the whole time, and my father worked like 3 jobs, you know, to keep us going, and so it was really difficult for my mom to all of a sudden take over, and finances were really tight, and they were really thoughtful, and my father and my mom had discussed this and put my mom through some sort of a what do you call it? It was like a secretarial school, so my mother could learn some skills and at least get some sort of a certificate type program, so she could, you know, go out into the work world. And I remember watching how hard that was. I remember the day she graduated from her school, and we all celebrated, my dad and then my 2 little brothers and I, and we were all proud of my mom. And then we watched her go to work in the work field, and you know, she didn't make a lot of money. She had 3 kids to support, and I watched how hard it was. And I really think that somewhere along the line I made a decision. I will never, ever, 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 ever be in a position like that. I will never depend on somebody taking care of me and supporting me. I will always be able to contribute to whatever happens in my future, and whether I marry or not marry, and you know, if anything goes wrong, I will be able to take care of myself. So I think,
Sophia, how do you feel?
I'm pretty inspired right now. Like, I want to go out and help people. Like, that interview made me so happy, and like want to go out and join this program at 21.
Natasha.
Yeah, we're gonna come work here.
Yeah, so she gave us cards.
And we're gonna go to conferences with her.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah, I feel pretty inspired myself. Her story was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a lot of advice.
Went
really
pretty well.
Music.
Yep, pretty well.
Okay.